Have I not been live this whole time? I think I haven't been live this whole time. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump through. Oh my god. Okay. Hi. I don't think I was live this whole time. That's so embarrassing. I was live for 20 minutes. Okay. Frank. Welcome aboard Bimobili at the big tree, baby. Hi. It is week 2 of the Artist's Way. I have been here reading this fuck ass book to you, but I was live. Okay, I talk again. I spill again. Thankfully, it's only been 20 minutes, which isn't like the worst in the world, but whatever. Okay, hi. So, I'm gonna be honest and upfront. I have not been doing my pages. I have been recovering from a minor surgery. I'm okay. I am fine. I just have holes in my abdomen, and I've been in bed, giving myself permission to be in bed, sleep a bunch, and grow rot on my phone. So get up. So yeah, not been doing my pages. Could've, haven't. Hee. Let's see, what else? I have been on Twitter too much. Let's get into it. I have the book. I've already read like 3 pages. I'm kind of gonna speed read. Okay. So this first passage is talking about the feeling of when you don't think. Oh, hi, Jenny. This first passage is about the feeling of when you start something new and you don't think it's gonna last, but you still. So you start self-doubting yourself. Okay, so I read. Trusting our creativity is a behavior for many of us. Blech. Trusting our creativity is a behavior for many of us. New behavior for many of us. It may feel quite threatening initially, not only for us, but also to our intimates. We may feel and look erratic. The erraticism is a normal part of getting unstuck. Pulling free from the muck has blocked us. It is important to remember that this, at first flush, going sane feels like going crazy. There is a recognizable ebb and flow into the process of recovering our creative selves. As we gain strength, or so will some of the attacks of self-doubt. This is normal. We can deal with these stronger attacks when we see them as symptoms of recovery. Common self-attacks are, okay, so I did okay this week, but it's just temporary. Okay, so I got the morning pages done. I probably did them wrong. Okay, so now I need to plan something big and do it right away. Who am I kidding? I'll never recover. Not right now, not ever. Girl. These attacks are groundless, but also convincing to ourselves. Buying into them enables us to remain stuck and victimized. Just as a recovering alcoholic must avoid the first drink, the recovering artist must avoid taking the first think. I don't like that wording, but for us, that think is self-doubt. Don't think this is any. I don't think this is any good. See, they're talking about like how when you're first doing this, you're gonna think like, oh, I'll never get over this art block. Oh, everything I make sucks. Gotta be Delulu. Delulu is the Salulu. Is that cringe? Yes. But also, be cringe is to be free, so meh. Also, Trinity, thank you for being here. I love you so much. Oh, how do I make the heart? It just looks like I'm making gang signs. Okay. These attacks can come from either internal or external sources. You can neutralize them once we recognize them as sort of creative virus. Affirmations are a powerful antidote for self-hate, which commonly appears under the mask of self-doubt. Early in our creative recovery, self-doubt can lure us into self-sabotage. A common form of this sabotage is showing someone our morning pages. Remember, morning pages are private and are not intended for the scrutiny of well-meaning friends. One newly unblocked writer showed his morning pages to a writer friend who was still blocked. When she critiqued them, he blocked again. Do not let your self-doubt turn into self-sabotage. Her. This next passage is essentially about that, exactly that, of like letting people who are not emotionally ready to move out of blockage see your journey and hold you back. That is one thing that one needs to be careful of is people are very easily jealous and don't want you to get ahead in life, even if it takes away nothing from them. They see you as competition and will sabotage you for their own ego. Ego, baby. It's all ego. You need a bigger ego. Creative flourishes when we have a sense of safety and self-acceptance. Creativity, goodness gracious. Your artist, like a small child, is happiest when feeling a sense of security. As our artists, protective parents, we must learn to place our artists in safe companions. Toxic playmates can capsize an artist's growth. Our recovery threatens them. As long as we are blocked, we often felt that it was arrogance and self-will to speak of ourselves as creative artists. I'm gonna burp. Ooh. The truth is that our self-will to refuse to acknowledge our creativity, of course, this refusal has its payoffs. We could wonder and worry about our arrogance instead of being humble enough to ask help to move through our fear. We could fantasize about art instead of doing the work. By not asking the great creator help with our creativity, and by not seeing the great creator's hand in our creativity, we could proceed to righteously ignore our creativity and never have to take risks of fulfilling it. Your blocked friends may still be indulging in all of these comforting self-delusions. And that's like the fucked thing about being an artist. Like when you're an art block, you do feel safer. You don't have a fear of putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, doing risky things. So you do feel safer in art block, and that's fucked. And I'm running over my cords. Oh no. Okay. If they are having trouble with your recovery, they are still getting payoff from remaining blocked. Perhaps they still get an anorectic high from the martyrdom of being blocked, or they still collect sympathy and wallow in self-pity. Perhaps they still feel smug thinking about how much more creative they could be than those who are out there doing it. These are toxic behaviors. People saying shit like, oh, I could do that. I've tried to draw, then hated it and depleted it so many times. Real. Yeah, that's why, honestly, that's why I had to like I know I didn't finish that art that I sent to you, but like I just wanted to get the idea out. Even if I didn't have it like the mental facilities to like fully flesh it out as like a drawing, I still wanted to get the idea out, you know? Plus I also promised it to you. Don't knock over my teeth. Okay. Do not expect your blocked friends to applaud your recovery, haters. That's like expecting your friends from the bar to celebrate your sobriety. How can they, when their own drinking is something they want to hold on to? I don't think I read that right. Whatever. Blocked friends may find your recovery disturbing. Your getting unblocked raises the unsettling possibility that they too could become unblocked and move into authentic creative risks rather than bench-sitting cynicism. Be alert to subtle sabotage from friends. You cannot afford their well-meaning doubts right now. Their doubts will reactivate your own. Be particularly alert to any suggestion that you have become selfish or different. These are red alert words for us. They are attempts to leverage us back into our old ways for the sake of someone else's comfort, not our own. Blocked creatives are easily manipulated by guilt. Our friends, feeling abandoned by our departure from the ranks of the blocked, may unconsciously try to guilt trip us into giving up our newly healthy habits. It's very important to understand that the time given into morning pages is time between you and God. The God just being like your ability to be creative. You don't have to actually like worship God or anything. You best know your answers. You will be led to new sources of support as you begin to support yourself. Be careful of safeguarding your newly recovered artists. Often creativity is blocked by our falling in with other people's plans for us. We want to set aside time for our creative work, but we feel we should do something else instead. As blocked creatives, we focus not on our responsibilities to others. I read that wrong again. As blocked creatives, we focus not on our responsibilities to ourselves, but to our responsibilities to others. And I think this is also like talking about people pleasers. I don't think, at least in the chapters that I've read, that like the author has like acknowledged people pleaser behavior and mentality. Oh my gosh, shut up. It's not all about Ash, but like it's low-key about Ash shit. Yeah, just me and my time with God. The anime god on our phone. Hee hee. Yeah, this book references God a lot, so if you hear me saying that, like, and like, I guess in a way, Ash could be seen as like, my, he got me out of art block for real. So I guess in a way I will refer to Ash as my unart blocking god. Ugh, it feels weird. Okay. The essential element in nurturing our creativity lies in nurturing ourselves. Through self-nurturance, we nurture our inner connection to the great creator. Through this connection, our creativity will unfold. Paths will appear for us. We need to trust the great creator and move out in faith. Repeat, the great creator has gifted us with creativity. Our gift back is our use of it. Do not let friends squander your time. Be gentle but firm and hang through. The best thing that you can do your friends is to be an example through your own recovery. Do not let their fears and second thoughts derail you. So, as example, Trinity, you're gonna be an amazing artist. You are an amazing artist. I want you, when you're ready and when you have the time, to just draw whatever the fuck. Don't delete it. Keep working on it. It fucking sucks. But the best thing I remember telling somebody was And this is really big-headed of me because I think I told this guy this when we were in high school. If the line that you're looking for in the drawing isn't there, keep drawing lines and erase everything you don't like. It will be within the lines. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. Soon enough, the techniques you learn will enable you to teach each other. Soon enough, you will see a bridge that will allow others to cross over from self-doubt into self-expression. For right now, protect your artist by refusing to show your morning pages to interested bystanders, or to share your artist date with friends. Draw a sacred circle around your recovery. I'm gonna burp. Oh, that was a hiccup instead. Where was I? Move in silence. Okay. Your own healing is the greatest message of hope to others. True. True, 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 true. Crazy makers. A related thing creatives do to avoid being creative is to involve themselves with crazy makers. Crazy makers are those personalities that create storm centers. They are often charismatic, frequently charming, highly inventive, and powerfully persuasive. And for the creative person in their vicinity, they are enormously destructive. You know the type. Charismatic but out of control, long on problems and short on solutions. Damn. Crazy makers are the kind of people who can take over your whole life. The fixer-uppers, they are irresistible. So much to change. So many distractions. If you are involved with a crazy maker, you are probably know it already. You certainly recognize the thumbnail description in the paragraph above. Crazy makers like drama. If they can swing it, they are the star. Anyone around them functions as supporting cast, picking up their cues, their entrances and exits from the crazy maker's crazy whims. Damn. Some of those most profoundly destructive crazy makers I have ever encountered are themselves famous artists. Damn. They are the kind of artists that give the rest of us bad names, often larger than life. They acquire that status by feeding on their life energy of those around them. For this reason, many of the most crazy artists in America are often found surrounded by a cadre of supporters as talented as they are, but determined to subvert their own talent in the service of the crazy maker king. I'm thinking of a movie set I visited several years ago. I'm a famous movie star, whatever the fuck. I think this person was a director or a writer or something. The filmmaker was one of the giants of American cinema. His stature was unmistakable, and so was his identity as a crazy maker. Given that all filmmaking is demanding, his sets are far more so. Long hours, long bouts of paranoia, intrigue, and interscene politics. Amid rumors that the set was bugged, this crazy maker king addressed his actors over a loudspeaker system while he, the Wizard of Oz, secreted himself away in a large and luxurious equipped trailer cave. Okay. On that crazy maker's set, the production lurched off schedule and over budget from the King Baby's unrecognizable demands. A film crew is essentially a crew of experts, and to watch these estimable experts become disheartened as was a strong lesson for me in the poisonous power of crazy making. Brilliant set designers, costume designers, sound engineers, not to mention actors, became increasingly injured as the production ran its devastating course. It was against the crazy maker's director's personal drama that they struggled to create the drama that was meant to go on screen. Like all good movie people, the crew was willing to work long hours for good work. What discouraged them was working these hours in the service of ego instead of art. The crazy making dynamic is grounded in power, and so any group of people can function as a energy system to be exploited and drained. Fuck. Crazy makers can be found in almost any setting, in almost any art form. Fame may help to create them, but since they feed on power, any power source will do. Although quite frequently, crazy makers are found among the rich and famous, they are common even among commoners. Right in the nuclear family, there is a reason we use that word. A resident crazy maker may often be found pitting family members against family members, undercutting someone's agenda, but his or her own. I'm thinking now of the destructive matriarch of my acquaintance, the titular head of a large and talented clan. She devoted her extensive energies to destroying the creativity of her children. Ooh. Where was I? Her children. And always choosing critical moments of her sabotage, she planted her bombs to explode just as her children approached success. Damn. Hi, Chummy. Welcome. I am reading The Artist's Way. Is it showing? Is there too much light? The Artist's Way. I'm on week 2. I just hit the mic. I'm so sorry. Where was I talking about? This is kind of a heavy topic, by the way. Real talk, is kind of heavy. It's we're talking about how a family member is preventing their own children. A mother is preventing their own children from like finding like creative work. So meh. The daughter, struggling to finish a belated college degree, finds herself straddled with a sudden drama. The book itself is about releasing yourself from art block, becoming a more rounded artist, and not being stuck in art block. Also, I have a Go room. The ID is at the top of chat, pinned to the top of chat, so you're welcome to join if you like. It's a pretty intense book. Where was I? The daughter, struggling to finish a belated college degree, finds herself straddled with a sudden drama the night before her final exam. The son, with a critical job interview, is gifted with a visitation just when he needs to focus the most. The mom self-sabotaging her kids, that's crazy. Do you know what the neighbors are saying about you? The crazy maker will often ask. And the beleaguered student mother will hear a horrific round of gossip that leaves her battered, facing her exam week beset by feelings of what's the use? Do you realize that you're ruining your own marriage with this possible new job? The son's hopeful career move is ashes before it begins. Whether they appear as your overbearing mother, your manic boss, your needy friend, or your stubborn spouse, the crazy maker is in your life share certain destructive patterns that will make them poisonous to any sustained creative work. Yeah. Crazy makers break deals and destroy schedules. They show up 2 days early for your wedding and expect to be waited on hand and foot. They rent a vacation cabin larger and more expensive than the one agreed upon, and they expect you to foot the bill. Crazy makers expect special treatment. They suffer a wide panoply of mysterious ailments that require care, attention, and whenever you have a deadline looming, or anything else that draws your attention from the crazy maker's demands. The crazy maker cooks her own special meals in a house full of hungry children. I feel like there's gendered language here. Maybe this author has trauma with mummy, perhaps. I don't know. Trying to stay cognizant of who's speaking, which is a white lady who has privilege of, you know, being able to be creative and supported. Like, just, you know, just gotta be aware of who we're listening to. The crazy maker is too upset to drive right after he has vented enormous verbal abuse to the head of around him. I am afraid Daddy will have a heart attack, the victim starts thinking, instead of, how do I get this monster out of my house? Right. Crazy makers discount your reality. No matter how important your deadlines or how critical your work trajectory at the moment, crazy makers will violate your needs. They may act as though they hear your boundaries and will respect them, but in practice, act is the operative word. Crazy makers are the people who call you at midnight or 6 a.m. saying, I know you asked me not to call you at this time, but blah blah blah. Crazy makers are the people who drop by unexpectedly to borrow something you can't find or don't want to lend them. Even better, they call you and ask to locate something they need, then fail to pick it up. I know you're on a deadline, they say, but this will only take a minute, your minute. They don't respect your time. Crazy makers spend your time and money. If they borrow your car, they return it late with an empty tank. Their travel arrangements always cost you time or money. They demand to be met in the middle of your workday or at the airport miles from town. I didn't bring taxi money, they say, when confronted with, but I'm working. Damn. Damn. Crazy makers triangulate those that they deal with. Because crazy makers thrive on energy, your energy, they set people against one another in order to maintain their own power position, dead center. That's where they feed most directly on the negative energies they stir up. So and so was telling me you didn't get to work on time today. Yes, narcissism for sure. Narcissism for sure. A crazy maker might say, you obligingly get mad at so-and-so and miss the fact that the crazy maker was using hearsay to set you off kilter emotionally. Crazy makers are expert blamers. Nothing that goes wrong is ever their fault. And to hear them tell it, the fault is usually yours. If you hadn't cashed that child support check, it would never have bounced. One crazy maker ex-husband told his struggling for serenity former spouse. Sometimes the way they word things is difficult for me. Crazy makers create drama. They seldom where they belong. Crazy makers are often blocked creatives themselves. Afraid to effectively tap their own creativity, they are loath to allow that same creativity in others. It makes them jealous. It makes them threatened. It makes them dramatic at your expense. Devoted to their own agenda, crazy makers impose these agendas to others. In dealing with a crazy maker, you are dealing always with the famous issue of figure and ground. You are always dealing with the famous issue to Girl, what? I don't understand this writer sometimes. In other words, whatever happens to you becomes trivialized into a mere backdrop for the crazy maker's personal plight. Do you think she loves me? They call and ask you when you're trying to pass the bar exam or get your husband home from the hospital. Crazy makers hate schedules, except their own. In the hands of a crazy maker, time is primary tool for abuse. If you claim a certain block of time as your own, your crazy maker will find a way to fight you for that time, to mysteriously need things, meaning you, just when you need to be alone and focused on the task at hand. I stayed up until 3 last night. I can't drive the kids to school. The crazy maker might spring on you the morning you yourself must leave early for a business breakfast with your boss. Dang. I'm running out of tea. I need more. The tea bag just slapped me in the face. I hate it here. I hate it here. Crazy makers hate order. Chaos serves your purpose. When you begin to establish a place that serves you and your creativity, your crazy maker will abruptly invade that space with projects of her own. What are all these papers, all this laundry on top of my work table? You ask. I decided to sort my college papers to start looking for the matches for my socks. Girl, what? Crazy makers deny that they're crazy. They go for the jugular. I'm not what's making you crazy. Your crazy maker might. What? Sorry. I looked away. Your crazy maker might say when you point out a broken promise or a piece of sabotage. It's just that we have such a rotten sex life. That's deranged. That's deranged. I don't think they're talking about. I think they're just talking about the topic of crazy makers. They are telling stories of different people. Um, it's not all of this happening to one person. It's just a collection of anecdotes from various people that the author's spoken to. Yeah, no, I don't think like this person is like. They may seem like kind of like a drama queen in this chapter, but it's just because it's the topic. If crazy makers are that destructive, what are we doing involved with them? The answer, to be brief but brutal, is that we're crazy. Is that we're that crazy ourselves. We are that self-destructive. Really? Yes. As blocked creatives, we are willing to go to almost any lengths to remain blocked. As frightening and abusive as life is with a crazy maker is, we find it far less threatening than the challenge of a creative life in our own. What would happen then? What would we be like? Very often, we fear that we let ourselves be creative. We will become crazy makers ourselves and abuse those around us. During this fear, as our excuse, we continue to allow others to abuse us. If you are not involved now with a crazy maker, it's very important that you admit this fact. Admit that you are being used, and admit that you are using your own abuser. Your crazy maker is a block you choose yourself to deter you from your own trajectory. Okay, that sounds a little bit victim blamey. I don't know how I feel about that passage. As much as you are being exploited by your crazy maker, you too are using that person to block your creative flow. Yeah, it feels a little victim blamey, but at the same time, like, I get it. I think they are boiling down a cycle of abuse where abuse is, on the one hand, what somebody else does to you, but it can also be a form of self-harm, like, you know, why haven't you left that partner? They're so bad for you. I think that's what they're essentializing. If you are involved in a torture tango with a crazy maker, stop dancing to his or her tune. Pick up a book on codependency and get yourself to a 12-step program for relationship addiction. Al-Anon, Sex and Love Addicts, Anonymous are two examples of programs to stopping the crazy maker's dance. Next time you catch yourself saying or thinking he or she is driving me crazy, ask yourself, what creative work are you trying to block by your involvement? Yeah. Okay, skepticism. Now that we have talked about the barrier to recovery others may present, let us take a look at the inner enemy that we harbor ourselves. Perhaps the greatest barrier for any of us as we look for an expanded life is our own deeply held skepticism. This might be called the secret doubt. It does not seem to matter whether we are officially believers or agnostics. We have our doubts about all of this creativity stuff, and these doubts may be powerful. Unless we air them, they can sabotage us. Many times, in trying to be good sports, we stuff our feelings of doubt. We need to stop doing that and explore them instead. Boiled down to their essentials, the doubts go something like this. Okay, so I started writing the morning pages and I seem more awake and alert in my life. So what? It's just a coincidence. Okay, so I have started filling the well and taking my artist on a date. And I do notice I am cheering up a little bit. So what? It's just a coincidence. Okay, so now I'm beginning to notice that the more I let myself explore the possibility of there being some power for good, the more I notice lucky coincidence turning up in my life. So what? I can't believe I'm really being led. It's just too weird. Self-doubt. She's shouting down at herself. It's fine. The reason we think it's weird to imagine an unseen helping hand is that we still self-doubt that it's okay for us to be creative. With this attitude firmly entrenched, we not only look all gifts horses in the mouth, but also swat them on the rump to get them out of our lives as fast as possible. Yeah, too good to be true, can't deal with this. When you're like actively making like changes in your life to get better, but then you're like, no, it's not gonna last. Like, yeah, I get it. When Mike began his creative recovery, he let himself admit that he wanted to make films. 2 weeks later, through a series of coincidences, he found himself in film school, with his company paying for it. Did he relax and enjoy this? No. He told himself that film school was distracting him from his real job of finding another job. So he gave up filmmaking to look for another job. 2 years later, he remembered this incident. Mike can shake his head at himself. When the universe gave him what he wanted, he gave the gift right back. Eventually, he did let himself learn filmmaking, but he made it a lot harder for himself than the universe had intended. One of the things most worth noticing in a creative recovery is our reluctance to take seriously the possibility that the universe just might be cooperating with our new and expanded plans. We've gotten brave enough to try recovery, but we don't want the universe to really pay attention. We still feel too much like frauds to handle some success. When it comes, we want it to go. Of course we do. Any little bit of experimenting and self-nurturing is very frightening to most of us. When our little experiment provides the universe to open a book or two, we start shying away. Hey, you, whatever you are, not so fast. I like to think of the mind as a room. In that room, we see all of our usual ideas about life. God, what's possible and what's not. The room has a door. Ash is in the room. Oh my god. And he's so sad. See? And where was I? Sorry, I got distracted thinking about Ash. The room has a door. The door is ever so slightly ajar, and outside we see a great deal of dazzling light. Out there is the dazzling light that we... Out there, in the dazzling light, are a lot of new ideas that we consider too far out for us. So we keep them out there. The idea that we are comfortable with The ideas that we are comfortable with are in the room with us. The other ideas are out. We keep them out. Hold on. You need some cocoa melon? I'll get some cocoa melon real quick. Oh my god. Why are people messaging me? That's crazy. Where the fuck is my search? Hello? Ooh, this is so pretty. Let me put this here. Let me add in you. Source. Window capture. Okay, let's pick. Here's some more some cocoa melon for you. Just the where's my freaking there we go. Just to keep us motivated. So pretty. Yeah. What time are you in the room? No? Okay. Okay. I got Ash on the screen. That's our little god of not being creative blocked. Yay, Cocomelon on the screen. If only I had a gif of him bouncing his wait, can I? Oh my god. Sometimes he like bounces his chest. It's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if only we could get like a gif of Ash bouncing his chest, that'd be perfect, Cocomelon. Oh my god. Okay. Locked in. We're here. We got the Cocomelon on the screen. Why does it just say slam? Okay, okay. Okay. Back to it. The picture that the author is painting for us is we're in a room. Our god of creativity, right now Ash, is in the room. They're trying to open the door for us to leave. Outside are the ideas that we are too scared to act upon. Inside, what we're willing to act upon. We need to stop being a little pussy. Let Ash open the door so we can get those ideas outside. Bring them into the room. Locked in. We're doing this. Okay. In our ordinary pre-recovered life, we would hear something weird or threatening and we would just grab the doorknob and pull the door shut fast. Inner work triggering outer change, ridiculous, slam the door. God bothering to help us in our own creative recovery, slam. Synchronicity supporting my artist with a serendipitous coincidence, slam. Slam. I'll take some of that. Now that we are in a creative recovery, there is another approach we need to try. To do this, we gently set aside our skepticism for later use, if we need it, and when a weird idea or coincidence whizzes by, we gently nudge this door a little further open. Setting skepticism aside, even briefly, we can make for very interesting explorations In creative recovery, it is not necessary that we change any of our beliefs. It is necessary that we examine them. More than anything, creative recovery is an exercise in open-mindedness. Again, picture your mind as that room with the door open. Nudging the door open a little bit more is what makes far more open-mindedness. Begin this week to consciously practice opening your mind. But what if I want to open my legs? Sorry, cringe. Sorry, I stopped. Okay. How much more do I have for this chapter? I don't recall it being. 3 pages. Okay, we can do that. Locked in. Very often, a creative block manifests itself as an addiction to fantasy. Rather than working or living the now, we spin our wheels and indulge in daydreams we could have, would have, should have. One of the greatest misconceptions about the artistic life is that it entails great swaths of aimlessness. The truth is that a creative life involves a great swath of attention. Attention is a way to connect and survive. Flora and Fauna reports, I used to call the winding letters from my grandmother. Girl, what? Flora and Fauna reports, I used to call the winding letters from my grandmother. The Forencia is starting. And this morning I saw my first robin. The roses are holding even in the heat. The sumac has turned, and the little maple down by the mailbox. What? I followed my grandmother's life like a long home movie. A shot of this and a shot of that spliced together with no pattern that I could even see. Dad's cough is getting worse. The little Shetland looks like she'll drop her foal early. Joanne is back in the hospital. I think she's just talking about noticing shit. I could imagine her letters that easy. Life through Grandma's eyes was a series of small miracles. The wild tiger lily. Okay, yeah, she's just talking about noticing shit. Her letters clocked the seasons of the year and her life. She lived until she was 80, and the letters came until the very end. When she died, it was suddenly as if her Christmas cactus. What? Here today, gone tomorrow. She left behind her letters and her husband of 62 years. Her husband, my grandfather, Daddy Howard, an elegant rascal with a gambler's smile and a loser's luck, had made and lost several fortunes, the last of them permanently. He drank them away, gambled them away, tossed them away the way he threw crumbs to the birds. He squandered life's big chances the way he savored the small ones. That man, my mother would say. My grandmother lived with that man in a tilled Spanish house, in trailers, in a tiny cabin halfway up the mountain, in a railroad flat, and finally in a house made out of ticky-tacky where they all looked just the same. I don't know how she stands it, my mother would say, furious with my grandfather for some new misadventure. She meant she didn't know why. The truth is, we all know how she stood it. She stood it by standing knee-deep in the flow of life and paying close attention. He's so pretty. Sorry, my cocoa melon. My grandmother was gone before I learned the lessons her letters were teaching. Survival lies in sanity. Sanity lies in paying attention. As her letters said, Dad's cough is getting worse. We have lost the house. There is no money, no work, but the tiger lilies are blooming. The lizards has found that spot in the sun. The roses are holding despite the heat. My grandmother knew that a painful life had taught her success or failure. Reading's hard, man. Something success. The quality of life in proportion always to the capacity for delight. The capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention. In a year when a long and rewarding love affair was lurching graciously away from the center of her life, the writer Mary Sarton kept a journal of solitude. In fact, in it, in it, she records coming home from a particularly painful weekend with her lover. Entering her empty house, I was stopped by the threshold of my study by a ray on a Korean chrysanthemum, lighting it up like a spotlight, deep red petals and Chinese yellow center. Seeing it was like getting a transfusion of autumn light. It is no accident that May Sarton used the word transfusion. The loss of her love was a wound, and in her response to the chrysanthemum, in the act of paying attention, Sarton's healing journey began. Okay, so this part is essentially taking in the daily joys of life. If you see something beautiful that speaks to you, sit with it for a minute, take it in, enjoy it, treasure it. Yeah. I think just reading very briefly what's coming ahead, it's just more talk about other people going through hard times, but seeing beautiful things, smelling the flowers. That's fine. I'm gonna skip it. Okay, now we're on to the homework. Okay. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me jiggle the cocoa melon. Do I have any keys? I'm doing this for Trinity, but I'm also kind of doing this for me. No. Jiggle. Oh. Where is he? Windows capture. Okay. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Where are my fucking keys? I don't have anything jingleable. This is for me. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Okay, okay. Cocomelon jingled. Cocomelon jingled. Okay. Okay. Rules of the road. In order to be an artist, I must show up at the page, use the page to rest, to dream, to try. That's the daily writings, according to the author. Fill the well by caring for my artist. That is doing anything that inspires you, whether it be watching something that is artistically fulfilling, doing a craft, doing a drawing, just anything that is emotionally fulfilling for you as an artist. Set small and gentle goals and meet them. Back in the day, jingle, jingle, jingle. Back in the day, the back rooms. Oh, keychain. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Okay, back in the day. Small, incremental, manageable goals. Do something that you can do. See, and this is why Minnie's really smart for having her daily doodles. That's the God, my model looks so fucking drunk when the left eye closes. You hate me. Motion capture thing that sees that I have one lazy eye, you bitch. Minnie is so smart for having the daily doodles because those are the very easy, accomplishable, bite-sized goals. She draws a little doodle of Cocomelon Angel Boy, and that fuels her. That's why I really like drawing the Marimomi memes, because small, easy, manageable. Need to do more. Pray for guidance, courage, and humility. Yeah. Make me strong. Make me strong, please. Please. Okay. Remember that it's far harder and more painful to be blocked than it is to do the work. And I think that's like talking about like regret of like not doing something that you want to do. Yeah. Agreed. Be alert always for the presence of the great creator leading and helping the artist. When you feel like you want to do something, fucking do it. If you want to be an artist, if you want to draw, just fucking draw. And if you don't want to, try just a little bit more, just to see where it goes. Just a little bit more. Even if it kind of sucks, try just a little bit more. Okay. Choose companions who encourage me to do the work, not just talk about doing the work or why I'm not doing the work. Okay. And I think that's why I really like the community. We're all a whole bunch of dorks who want more art, and we're hungry and we're needy and we want it. So if we see somebody who wants to draw, we all jump in and say, draw something, please. Draw some sexy booty cheeks. Or something, you know what I mean? Okay. Remember that the great creator loves creativity. Yeah. They like our drawings. They like to see their booty cheeks. Remember that it is my job to do the work, not to judge the work. Trinity, that one's for you. Don't throw it away. Don't throw it away. Don't toss it. Don't throw it away. Don't delete it. Draw it. Even if you can't see it through all the way to a fully completed piece, put it down on the paper. And that's for me too. Not just you. But I just figured it kind of worked for you too. Remember the great creator loves creativity. Oh, I read that one. Place this sign in my workplace. Great creator, I will take care of the quantity. You take care of the quality. Oh, okay. So, I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna keep making it. Even if it's shit, I'm gonna make it. It is up to the... It's not up to, I mean, it is up to us to make it good, but like as we just create more, it will gradually get better. So like don't stress about it being good, just make it. Okay. Tasks. Those are the rules. Now here are the tasks. This is the homework. This is the actual homework. Affirmative reading every day. Morning and night, get quiet, focus, read the basic principles, see page 17, be alert of any attitudinal shifts. Can you see yourself setting aside any skepticism? Number 2, where does your time go? List your 5 major activities this week. How much time did you give each one? Which were what you wanted to do and which were shoulds? What you want to do versus what you should do. How much of your time is spent helping others and ignoring your own desires? Have any of these blocked your friends triggered doubts in you? What does that mean? Okay, well, obviously, like, we have, like, jobs. We have jobs. So, that's some of the stuff that we have to do. How much time is spent on other people? That's one thing that we have to, like, be cognizant of, is, like, are we wasting our time on other people that we should be, you know, devoting to what we actually want to do? Take a sheet of paper, draw a circle. Inside the circle, place topics you need to protect. Place the names of those who you find to be supportive. Outside the circle, place the names of those who you think must be self-protective around. Just now. Place the safety map neat where you write your morning pages. Use this map to support your autonomy. Add names in the inner circle and outer circle as appropriate. Derek is somebody I shouldn't talk to about this right now. I think this is just about not necessarily like cutting people out of your life, but like protecting your artistic piece. There are people we need in our lives who we don't necessarily love, but they're important. Like your boss at work, they may be a shit, but they sign your checks. So like, say they call you to pick up an extra shift, even though you already worked that day or whatever the fuck. You have to just be cognizant of like how they get in your way of what you want to do with yourself, I guess, is what I'm understanding. But what if I need the money? List 20 things you enjoy doing: rock climbing, roller skating, baking pies, blah 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 blah. When was the last time you let yourself do these things? Next to each entry, place a date. Don't be surprised if it's been years for some of your favorite tasks. That will change. This list is an excellent resource of artist dates. They went over artist dates last week. Artist dates are anything that you set time aside to do that fulfills you artistically. From your list of things, favorite things that you've avoided, pick 2 and do them. They can be small. Buy 1 roll of film and shoot it. Remember that you are trying to win some autonomy with your time. Pardon me. So to do 2 things that you haven't done in a really long time that you found fun. Number 5, dip back into week 1, read the affirmations, note which ones cause the most reaction. Often the one thing that sounds the most ridiculous is the most significant. Write these 3 chosen affirmations 5 times each day in your morning journal. Be sure to include the affirmation that you made yourself from your blurts. Blurts are when you negative self-speak. So like, I'm gonna draw this thing, but I suck at drawing. That's a blurt. Return to the list of imaginary lives from last week. Add 5 more lives. That was imagining if like you were doing whatever the fuck you wanted to do, what would you be doing? Add 5 more imaginary lives that you could be living if money was no object. Ugh, this is so much homework. Life pie. Draw a circle, divide into 6 pieces, label it into 6 pieces of pie. This is emotional vegetables. It's okay. It sucks. It's annoying, but it's emotional vegetables. Just gotta get through it. Label 1 piece spirituality, another piece exercise, play, work, friends, and romantic adventure. Place a dot in each slice at the degree at which you are fulfilled in that area. Connect the dots. This will show where you are lopsided. So it's like those like Naruto skill charts. That's where I first saw what this person is describing. It's the Naruto skill charts, but it's for spirituality, exercise, play, work, friends, and romance. As you begin the course, it is not uncommon for your life pie to look like a tarantula. As recovery progresses, your tarantula may turn into a mandala. Working with this tool, you will notice that there are areas of your life that feel impoverished and on which you spend little or no time. Use the time tidbits you are finding to alter this. If your spiritual life is minimal, even a 5-minute pit stop into a synagogue or cathedral can restore this sense of wonder. Many of us find that 5 minutes of drum music can put us in touch with our spiritual girl. That's the most woo-woo ass shit. For others, it is a trip into a greenhouse. The point is that even the slight attention to our impoverished areas can nurture them. 10 tiny changes. Number 8. List 10 changes you'll like to make for yourself from the significant to the small or vice versa. I.e. get new sheets. I have another set. Go to China. Paint my Kitchen, dump my bitchy friend Alice, do it this way. I would like to blah blah blah. As the morning pages nudge us increasingly into the present, where we may pay attention to our current lives, a small shift like a newly painted bathroom can yield a luxuriously large sense of self-care. Select one small item and make it a goal for the week. Now do that item. Okay. How many days? Check in. How many days did you do your morning pages? 2. Hopefully 7. I only did 2. How was the experience for you? I didn't write a lot. How was the morning pages for you? I didn't know what to write. I could have just wrote, I don't know what to write, over and over, but I didn't, because I was also at work. Remember, I also need to work on when I do my morning pages. I should have done it at home, not at work. Remember that you are writing morning pages and they are working for you. What are you surprised to find about yourself? Answer the questions in full on your check-in page. This will be the weekly self-scan of your mood, not your progress. Don't worry if your pages are whiny and trite. Sometimes that's the very best for you. Number 2, did you go on your artist date? No. I was in the hospital, and then I was in bed, and then I was bedding some more, and then I stayed in bed. How did it feel to be in bed? Fucking awesome. I wasn't at work. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant in your recovery? I guess the drama on Twitter. I guess. It's whatever. Yeah, so that's week 2. How long was I live? Hour and a half. Wait, no, only an hour because I started late. Okay, let's put Cocomelon away. I'm sorry, Cocomelon's going away. Let me just jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle, jingle, jingle before I put him away. Okay. What can I say about this week? Well, I need to actually start referencing my book more when I do my pages, and then I need to do the art date, and that's fine because that's how you grow. And also, like, there is no harm in recognizing when you fuck up and you need to restart. And that's essentially what this course for me is. It's about me not being that good at following through with stuff and wanting to be, so here I am doing the damn thing, trying to get better. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and end stream. I don't know if I'm gonna start another stream and do something else, or maybe just be online, whatever. Yeah, that's in me. Thank you for being here. Oh, I don't have an ending thing. Start shaking ass on top of cars. I don't know. Hee. Have fun, live well, shake some ass. Draw. Pop that pussy for a real one. I don't know. Bye.